Mr. Wallace, good morning to you. Thank you very much for joining us.
President, good morning, Ryan.
There is a debate. Thank you very much for being here. There is a debate on whether you're former or current. Your view?
I'm still the current president of the Trinidad and Tobago Football Association as per our constitution.
You say that FIFA cannot remove you. They have removed past presidents when normalization committees have taken effect around the world. Why Trinidad and Tobago is different?
Past presidents have resigned in frustration based on the setting of normalization committee. And past presidents have resigned. I have not yet resigned as president of the Trinidad and Tobago Football Association.
Tell me, do you plan to resign?
Repeat that?
Do you plan to resign?
Not at this time.
Okay, so the FIFA Normalization Committee has been named. Have you had any conversations with Robert Haddad, the chairman of that committee, as yet?
Yes, Robert called me once, and we had a very short conversation.
What was the conversation about?
I would not like to reveal it at the moment. Basically, it was just to say, he actually apologized to me. I told him there was no reason to apologize. He went on to say to me that, you know, it took a very long time before he made a decision to accept. He actually told me he was, you know, called quite a long time ago. But it took a very long time before he accepted, and he apologized. I said to him that there was no need to apologize. This was not his doing. If there's any battle here, the battle would be with FIFA, not with him.
Did he apologize for FIFA sending in a normalization committee and disbanding the TTFA?
That's correct, he did.
So, your thoughts on where this is all going now? It's been roughly 2 weeks.
I'm not hearing you well on this line.
Are you hearing me better now, Mr. Wallace?
Go ahead.
Since the Normalization Committee took effect 2 to 3 weeks ago, what is Trinidad and Tobago, what has been your contribution to Trinidad and Tobago football then, as your capacity, as you say, as president of the TTFA? Because in effect, what we understand is that everybody lost their position when the FIFA Normalization Committee was named.
What has been my contribution to football in Trinidad and Tobago?
What work have you done? Have you been able to go about your work on a day-to-day basis since the FIFA Normalization Committee has been named?
Well, nobody has been able. Most people in Trinidad and Tobago have not been able to go about their work in the normal ways since because of the COVID-19. As a matter of fact, before the Normalization Committee was named, we had already shut down our offices.
I get that. I understand what you're saying.
And since then, we are dealing with the issue of the Normalization Committee being set up. That's our focus at the moment. There's really no other business to conduct. Football is shut down. There's no business to conduct. We are focusing on trying to deal with the situation as it presents itself via the Normalization Committee.
All right. Can you give us an update on that matter with the FIFA? You guys were supposed to head to the Court of Arbitration for Sport. You've started a GoFundMe page. Can you give us an update on both?
Well, basically what we have done 2 days ago, we have done the filing. We have been given a case number. The lawyers are preparing their brief at this point in time, gathering information, and that's where we are at this point in time.
Does the matter look set to go to the Court of Arbitration for Sport? Do you think you'll raise the money via the GoFundMe page?
Repeat?
Do you think you would raise the money required to go to the Court of Arbitration for Sport?
Well, we have raised the first set of money we need, which was to do the filing and so on. We did that. We using the GoFund. That's not the only means of getting money. We are using that as one means. There are other persons who would have pledged money to the cause, basically from the point of view of seeing this as injustice and that it should be challenged. So there are other persons who are. So I'm hoping that at the end of the day, as things move along, that we would be able to generate money to be able to at least challenge it.
There is a fear within certain fraternities within football in Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Wallace, that this road that you are going down could ultimately lead to Trinidad and Tobago football being banned by the FIFA. Do you have that fear?
I don't, and I don't know why people should have that fear. Let me explain this to you. The FIFA statute clearly provides this avenue, that if you have a dispute, this is in the FIFA statute, that you can go to the Court of Arbitration. It will be passing strange to tell me that I can do this, and when I do it, that you decide to ban me. Then I think that will be another discussion then. In terms of football, I don't know if people don't understand what is happening is that if you take FIFA to your local court, it is also in the statutes that you can face expulsion or a ban if you take FIFA to the local court. We did not go down that road because we, of course, do not want that to happen to Trinidad and Tobago football. But as I indicated, it is provided in the FIFA statutes that you can go to the Court of Arbitration if you have an issue with the FIFA. So as I said, it will be passing strange that you gave me that route to go, and when I go down that route, you decide to ban us. Well, as I said, that will be another discussion.
That will be another discussion. I had a conversation with Dr. Hannibal Najjar this time last week on this same show, and his exact comment to me when I asked him that question was that, of course, FIFA's headquarters is in Zurich. The Court of Arbitration for Sport is also there. And his genuinely belief is that FIFA will go to the Court of Arbitration for Sport against the TTFA, and they've already got, what he didn't say, people planted there that will automatically make it FIFA's decision. Do you have any concerns about going to the Court of Arbitration for Sport? Do you think that you'd get a fair and object decision there?
That's also a concern that we have. But you know what, Ryan? It's like, we have a bully on the corner next to your home, and he comes into your yard every day and he does what he wants, and then you decide, well, all the odds are stacked against me, so I need to just allow myself to be bullied. And, we are saying, yes, it is a mountainous climb. It is a hard fight, yes, but, sometimes somebody has to be the one to start it. This whole matter has generated interest around the world. I mean, we have been getting calls, we have been getting articles out of France, out of London, out of other places. We are now seeing the UEFA president is speaking out against certain things in FIFA. So if this is what it takes, this little action that we are taking here, is what it takes to probably wake up some people, then so be it,
Prior to this FIFA Normalization Committee coming into Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Wallace, it seemed that you ran a divisive board, and I'm sorry if you don't agree with the word that I've used, a divisive board in terms of you had members of your board coming out and saying, well, we didn't get that information and we haven't been getting that information. Can you...
Again, we have a little issue with the lines. Just repeat that a little louder for me, please.
Okay. Prior to the FIFA Normalization Committee coming into Trinidad and Tobago football, for lack of a better word, you ran what would be termed a divisive board, a divided board. Some members of your board were complaining that they didn't even know about decisions that were being made, contracts that were being signed. What is the atmosphere, if you're still FIFA, TTFA president, as you say, what is the atmosphere and environment of your board at this particular time? Is there a TTFA board?
I think, the board, as far as we are concerned, the board exists at this point in time. And once the executive exists, then the board exists. And yes, we had some issues with board members, and that would always happen, Ryan. It's not that you went into an election. We won the election 26 to 20. So it meant that basically, we had an opposition then. And on the board, of course, there are members there who would have served in the past board or the previous board. There are members there who have their own agenda. Nothing is wrong with that. And of course, we had our issues where some people disagree with some things that were done. But in generally on the board, we have support. Generally on the board, we have support. So if we had enough persons on the board that if we had to pass something that is important, that it would have been passed. However, our approach is basically that we want to involve everybody and give everybody an understanding of what is happening. I mean, I understand that on any board, and I don't want people to just be say yes to everything that you do.
Mr. Wallace, your board has been extremely...
You need to have people talking all
Mr. Wallace, your board has been extremely vocal in its disagreement on many issues. But I have to go now, so I just want to get this question in before I go. If you are to strike the stone, and defeat Goliath in this case, if you are to defeat the FIFA in this case, what would the outlook of Trinidad and Tobago football be? Especially that Trinidad and Tobago football depends so much on the FIFA funding. We're a small island.
And again, here we go. So you depend on something, so you take whatever comes your way. Is that the attitude of Trinidad and Tobago and any other
country? But that is the reality of our football, Mr. Wallace. That is the reality that we have.
Well,
we are in $30 to $50 million debt. That is the reality of our situation. I know that you. We would have produced a document. We would have started discussion. The first executive that started any discussion to deal with a historic debt would have been this executive. And even when people are trying to play down or to make whatever your proposal was, that they question it. The last thing that happened is that parties that we were talking to the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago on this. So, discussions were taking place. And of course, there are people who are bent on this must not happen. Because if this happens, it's going to probably entrench certain people in football, and that must not be the case. There are other people trying to destroy football in Trinidad and Tobago. By doing everything that is quite possible to do that. It happens with members of the media are involved in that. So because they take a particular side in something. We have to make a decision. Sometimes, Ryan, it is one where I probably do not like or support this, but you know what? It is good for Trinidad and Tobago. It is good for the sport. So let me allow it and give it a chance to happen. Mr. William Wallace,
we have to start to go down that road a bit more.
I really appreciate you taking our call this morning to talk about this very important topic. We'll keep in touch with you during this Court of Arbitration for Sport matter.
All right, thank you. Ryan.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. William Wallace talking to us this morning on the TTFA's fight against the FIFA, taking it all the way to the Court of Arbitration for Sport.